This is J. Krishnamurti's first discussion with students in Amsterdam, 1969.
What shall we talk about? Or what would you like to discuss?
Yes. So you know a way to see the astral world.
Do you know
A way to see the astral world.
You know the way to see the astral world? I wonder what you mean by the astral world. Are you talking about the extrasensory perception? Is that what you mean? To be very sensitive, to see more than the physical, to read other people's thoughts and thought transference and all that kind of thing? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Well, I think that's fairly simple, isn't it? If one is very, very sensitive, both physically, emotionally, and psychologically, inwardly, very, very sensitive, I think one sees great many things. Which means one has to eat the right kind of food, not smoke, no drugs, no drink, lead a very regular life, proper exercise, all that's implied in this, and lead a very highly moral life, then perhaps you may be able to see something more physical, less physical, and so on. I don't think you want to do all that, do you? May I ask a question? You must know, as well as we do, what is happening in the world. The brutality, the violence, the terrible things that are going on in the world, political hypocrisy, and so on, war. I wonder what we're all going to do with regard to all these things that are going on outside of us. What is your action? What is your attitude? What is your motive in action? What is the way you're going to live your life amidst this confusion and chaos and violence? Would it be worthwhile to discuss that? Shall we discuss that? I ask you questions, sir, and so I know, but you have to tell, we have to discuss it, we have to not merely listen to me, but what are we going to do? What are you going to do? With the economic pressure, population pressure, the world getting more tighter and tighter and tighter packed, and therefore greater violence, less freedom, more compulsive propaganda, more authority, more police, the consequences of all this. So what shall we do in a world of this kind?
What's happening in the world? Isn't it so that it's also happening, but I don't know if it's in a little way, but you can say it's happening in a little way inside.
I know that.
Or in the same way.
You're saying, is it not happening inside of us perhaps in a smaller field and a bigger field.
I think the same.
Yes, what is happening inside is also happening outside. And so there is not this difference between the outer and the inner. But taking all that for granted, which is so, what are we going to do?
The difficulty is that you can't interfere with other persons.
What's that?
The difficulty is that you can't interfere with other persons in other person's life.
The difficulty is you can't interfere with other people's lives. Other people are interfering with yours, and you are interfering with other people's lives. We are not living in isolation, not living in a closed wall. We are influencing each other all the time. Army, the priest, the politician, the family, the parent, the city, we're all interrelated. You can't say, well, I'll be separate.
Shouldn't we start with ourselves?
What's that?
Shouldn't we start with ourselves?
Shouldn't we start with ourselves? Will that be sufficient?
If everybody does it.
If everybody does it, then it would be all right. But do you wait for others?
No, I start myself.
You start yourself now. All right. How will you do it?
With the things you've mentioned in your first answer.
The things.
You
What?
answered on the first question.
I can't. The answer lies in the first question.
Doesn't the answer lie in your answer on the
First question, that's right, yes. But I'm putting it to you, so don't throw it back to me.
Well, I think it does.
And, I mean, you are young, and the older generation, are more or less finished. They're on their way out. And there you are, young people. What is your action? What is your responsibility? What are you going to do? If you say the world is me, and I must begin within, is that logical? Is that sane? Is that true action? You follow what I mean? Otherwise we'll go off in all kinds of absurdities. If the world is me, and I am caught in this cage, in this trap, what shall I do?
I think we cannot do anything. We cannot escape the world.
We cannot escape the world, he
And just
said.
look and being frustrated perhaps, and sometimes being aggressive, and sometimes hoping that you can change some little things, and being frustrated again, and so on, until life is finished.
Is that good enough?
Oh no, not for me. I keep smiling. I try to find my way in all this. Try to find my way. No one can stop
yes,
me.
sir. Do listen to the difficulty of it. Do find out how difficult it is. Here I am, living in this world. I am part of this world. The world is not different from me, and I have to begin with myself, right? That's what we all say, more or less. I don't know if you mean it, or verbally, or purely as a passing statement. But if you really mean it, then there is the question of war pressing on you, conscription, joining the army. You follow? Going to be trained in the army. The political decisions you have to make, and so on and on. You see, all pushing, driving, making you act in a particular direction.
In a certain way, but not total, if you answer.
Yes, quite right, not totally. So how shall I or you, how shall we begin this thing? So that, listen sir, so that my action will not be fragmentary, but will cover the whole field of life. You follow what I mean? My action which will be true, whatever I do in this field of life. A consistent, non-contradictory action. Can't say, well, I'll do this and later discover that's contradictory to that. And again discover that that is contradictory to something else. You follow? So I must act totally. I must live a life that corresponds to the totality of the confusion in a totally different way. I don't know. Otherwise, I may be behaving rightly there, quite the opposite there. You see the difficulty. So seeing the difficulty, what shall I do?
Try to find the midway.
Try to find a midway. That's the midway is the most bourgeois way.
Try to find yourself. You do. You are not doing by product or something. You do.
And so, no sir, just a minute, look at the difficulty. So first, don't say what you do, what you don't do. We'll come to that presently. But see what is involved. You follow what I mean? I must act in a way that will be harmonious totally all the time in this field of existence. I must have the right answer for the military, right answer for the intellectual, the activist, the religious, the family, my sexual demands. You follow? I have to earn a livelihood. So I must live so that it is harmonious all the time, not fragmentary and contradictory. I mean, if I say I'll become an artist, or I'm an artist, and I'm just concerned with painting and nothing else, it doesn't interest me, you can't live that way. Or if you say I'm a scientist, I'm only interested in science, in research, and shut myself off in a laboratory, that's an escape. Or say, well, I'll become a monk, that's not an answer. So we must live a life which is a total all the time. I don't know if you...
I read like that, but it's very difficult.
No, see the problem. No, don't say it's impossible or possible. Let's look at it first. So what am I to do?
I think I have first to discover that I am fragmentary, that I am divided, that
Yes,
I
sir.
am not a whole.
Yes, that's so. But we are fragmented. I am one time very peaceful, next time I'm angry, and so on, fragmented. And so my actions are also broken up. I hate people and I love people. And so on, so on. It's all broken up. Now, if I act in a fragmentary way, such action will breed more confusion, right? So I have to find a way of living which is non-fragmentary, right? Now what?
So we have to take part in everything.
That means go and kill people?
Pardon?
Go and kill people?
No.
Wait, sir, no, don't, you see? Go and become a priest, take part in that, get drunk, take drugs.
No.
Therefore, you see, when you say I must take part in everything,
Well, but that doesn't mean that you have to do the same things.
then what will you do?
You can
Perhaps
talk
you
to
mean
priests.
to be involved in everything.
Now, is it to be involved in everything?
No, to know about everything.
But you do know. You don't have to join the killing business to know about what it is to kill.
No, but you have to know the people.
No, sir. Which people?
The people who are killing. Why they are killing.
Oh, but it's fairly simple. That is fairly simple to find out.
Well, if you do, you have gained something.
No, sir, but that doesn't answer my question, does it? My question is, how am I, in a world that is fragmented, and my actions are also fragmented, my outlook, my way of thought, is everything departmentalized, contradictory, and fragmented. What am I to do to live non-fragmentary life? Please, sir, don't answer. First look at the question, you see. And also I say I must begin with myself, right? I must change. I must have no fragmentary life in myself. I must have no contradiction in myself, right? I mustn't have God and hell in me.
Yes, but I have. And if I want to be a different way, I'm always busy wanting to be.
So what is one to do? The origin of fragmentation, what do you think it is? Vivan?
First to stop all doing.
No, wait, look, he asked what is the origin of fragmentation? Why are we fragmented? Huh? Yes, the opposites. Why? Why is there this opposites? I want to be good and I want to be bad. I want to live peacefully, I live in a warlike life, aggressively. So why is there this fragmentation? What causes this fragmentation? Is that the cause of fragmentation?
Yeah, in some cases, yes, in business.
In business, you say it's fragmentation. So look in yourself. Don't take the business or outside. Why are you fragmented?
Because we don't understand.
Because we don't understand ourselves. No, look, sir, go. You realize, or one realizes, that one lives a fragmentary life, right? Now I want to find out what is the cause of it.
Because we don't know exactly what we are. We don't know
No, madam, not quite yet. You say the mind. What makes for fragmentation?
Because you are involved in several levels, several intense.
You are involved in several levels of existence. Hmm?
You are involved to certain degrees all the time, and there is always a degree left in which you can be involved. So there's always your attention is very hard for you.
Let's put the question differently. I know I'm fragmented. We are fragmented. I don't know what it means to live harmoniously. If I could live harmoniously within myself, then I'll act harmoniously whatever I do. But I'm not harmonious. There is no balance in me. One day I'm this, one day I'm that, and there's contradiction, there are opposing desires, there's always this cleavage. Now, how do I come upon this harmony of life? What causes disharmony? Destruction. What causes disorder in me?
Not finding satisfaction in particular things and then looking for another sort of satisfaction.
That is, you are saying there is disharmony because there is discontent. Is that right? Huh? Most of us are discontented. And being discontented, I want to find contentment. I might find it in a house, in a family, in a good job, having something to do, getting committed in a particular system of action, and I say I'm perfectly happy there, leave me alone. Right? So, I am being discontented, one is seeking contentment, right? Right? But is there such thing as contentment? No. One day, for a few years, I'm very happy with the house, with the family. But there is always boiling in me to be something different.
People are always trying to complete themselves by looking outside of them and by finding things outside of them.
Yes.
But I thought you must first say to yourself, who am I? And what do I want?
Yes, sir, that's what we're doing now. We're gradually evolving it. So, what shall I do? What will we do? What am I to do? Knowing, follow it, sir, knowing I am discontent, and discontentment can easily be satisfied for the time being, because in a few years' time, I don't want that. So, I mustn't smother this discontent through satisfaction, because that discontent is like a flame that's keeping me burning. If I smother it by satisfaction, it dies, and I become dead. You follow? So I must keep that thing alive, a flame. And which means never being satisfied. Right? I mean, if an artist, painter, is satisfied with his picture is there is no painter. So you must keep working. So how am I to keep the flame alive and not become satisfied? Big one?
And not become too tired.
And not become too tired.
Not become too tired physically. So I have to find out if there is any satisfaction at all in life, gratification, in which the mind can find a security and live there. You follow? Is there such thing as security?
If you are satisfied, I don't think you think I'm satisfied. I don't know if you can get conscious that you are satisfied.
No, but no, madam, we are trying to find satisfaction. We are trying to find security. Before we want security, we must find out if there is such thing as security.
No, there is no security.
Huh?
Well, there is no security, and there is no satisfaction, no real satisfaction.
So.
Because you say when you have a house, within 5 years you will another.
Yeah, bigger house, and so on and on and on.
Yes, and then you say by yourself, well, what is time? Because for 4 years I did like it, and now I want something else. Well, and so you say, what is time? And does time really exist? And then you find out that time is something of the people they have made for well, it's available for everyone, but it doesn't really exist.
So, if time doesn't exist, for you, not theoretically.
Well, when everyone goes on thinking, they come out at the same point, but they refuse thinking in certain ways.
So, when you say time is unreal, is it unreal to you, or is it a theory? You know what it means to time is not real? That means there is no tomorrow.
In certain ways.
No, not in certain ways. Go slowly, go into it, sir. No tomorrow psychologically, except there is tomorrow, the school opens, the college opens, I have to do something. But psychologically, if you say there is no time, there is no tomorrow. Which means there is no past. Is that so to you?
Not always.
And it So let's go back a little bit. We wandered off a little. What is a human being to do in a world in which we are living so that he lives completely harmoniously within himself? And yet, whatever he does must be harmonious, right? Because he is in harmony, his action will be in harmony. Right? Now, what am I to do or not to do to be in harmony, to have no fragmentation whatsoever in me? Because the world is fragmented. The world is in disorder. The world lives in terrible disharmony. And I have to live there. I can't run away from it. So how am I to come upon this harmony so that whatever it does is harmonious?
So we have to be in harmony with disharmony.
With?
We have to be in harmony with disharmony.
Oh no.
You say the world is disharmony.
Yeah.
And we have to be in harmony with the world.
Which means what? All right. Which means what? I must have a harmony.
Yes.
Huh? As you yourself said, sir, I must begin with myself. And to begin with myself and to live harmoniously, if I live harmoniously, then I will deal with the world harmoniously. I will not live with disharmony. I will do something. And what I do will be harmonious.
Yes.
So, how am I to come upon this harmony? Not occasionally, all the time, no? You follow? Not 1 week and then the next week disharmony and third week harmony, no.
I have to see that I am not harmonious.
We recognize that. I mean, I think that's fairly simple. We do recognize that we are fragmented, contradictory, in confusion, and so on, therefore, which is disharmony. Now, how do I set about, please follow this, to remove the disharmony in myself, to be free of disharmony?
Be free of everything.
And don't answer, you see, you're too quick.
One has to be without desires because desires bring conflict.
She says, one must be without desire. That's what the priests have said. Therefore they said, don't look at a woman, don't look at pictures, don't look at any beauty, look at the Bible and don't look beyond it.
But you can look at it without desire.
So, when you say you must have no desire, why do you say that? Because you know desire brings disharmony, contradiction. So, instead of saying we must have no desire, but if you understand the nature of desire, understand it, then you're out of it, aren't you? If you understand it. It's like understanding a machinery, then you're not frightened of it. So I have to understand desire. And to know when desire becomes contradictory. Right? So I have to find out what is desire. So you have touched upon something true, haven't you? That is, I see I'm in contradiction, and I see desire brings about this contradiction, because I desire one thing one day, next thing another day, and so on. So this contradiction comes about through the contradictory desires. And it's no good saying I must live without desire, because that would be absurd. Then I must shut my eyes, I must die. So I have to understand desire. Right? Then I am not frightened of it. So, what is desire? How does it come? Don't guess at it. Don't guess it. Work at it, you will find out. What is desire?
Wanting to have something you don't have.
What does that mean? You have something that you don't, you want something that you don't have. What does that mean? Examine it, so explore it a little bit.
It means that you have nothing at the moment you do desire something else.
No, yes, you desire something. How does that desire come into being?
Out of disharmony.
Huh? No, not disharmony. Look at it, please. Examine it.
You have something to live for.
You've just now said something, sir, which is so true. That is, you have nothing and you want something. Right? You see a big house and you live in a little room and you want the big house. Right? Right? What has taken place there? There, go on, sir. Go, pursue it. Don't stop there.
You have seen a house and you thought by yourself, I want that house. And
Stop
my
there.
mind goes on.
Which means what?
Growing bigger.
No, do. Go slowly, sir. You'll get it if you go slowly.
Because you're thinking it over.
You have a small room, ugly room, and you see a big house, beautiful garden, nice furniture, nice carpet. Wait, regardez un instant, je vous prie. Look at it. And you compare, don't you? My little room, ugly little room, and a marvelous house. Right? You compare. You measure. You are dissatisfied with the little and you want the bigger. More comfortable. Right? So what has happened? How has desire come into this?
You think that the bigger is better?
Big one, sir?
You think that the bigger is better?
Yes, the bigger the better.
I think the bigger is the better.
Yeah, you think the bigger is the better. Yes. But that's not the point. We're trying to find out how desire arises.
Is it remember?
Huh?
Does it come out of remembrance?
Is it memory?
Is it memory? That is, you remember your little house and you want the big house.
Or you remember the big house when you get back to your
Better little house. So go into it, sir. Don't stop there. You'll push.
Well, that's what the mind do. Push.
Yes, the mind is pushing, but you haven't found the answer. Our question is, how does desire arise? Wait, you say in contact. Huh? Now look what's happened. Small room and a big room. You look at it. You see it visually. Compare it both ways. So what has happened? Perception, seeing, right? The big, measuring that with the little. The sensation of pleasure, having more, right? Right? And the desire to possess it. Right? There it is. Right? You see it? Comparison. No, first, perception through the eye, right? Comparison, memory, right? Saying my house, my little room is shoddy, I like that big room. So comparison comes in, sensation, and desire to have it, right? There is a desire, right? That clear? Huh?
So you mustn't compare.
No, but don't say must or must not. Look at it. You have got an extraordinarily good mind, and I have a stupid mind. And I say, by Jove, I'd like to have a mind like you. Hmm? No, watch it. Why? Because I feel that how marvelous to have a mind like that. Hmm? So desire. Desire to possess, because I have seen, felt, observed your brightness, your clarity, and I want that. So desire is born. I see there is a beautiful car outside, see it, touch it, sensation, desire. That is the origin of desire, right? Clear? Now what happens then? Go next step little. What happens? I now found the origin of, the beginning of desire. Better food, better clothes, better this. You follow the whole of it. Now I found that. Then what takes place?
I begin to think about it all the time.
You begin to think about it. That means what?
Find the way to get it.
Huh?
To find the way to get it.
That's a way to get it, because it gives you pleasure. That is, desire, thinking about it, gives pleasure. Right? Sex, thinking about it, gives pleasure. Right?
But at the same time, you know, you have it not. You have not got it yet.
You haven't got it, but no, we are just examining how desire arises, not how to get the house. I can't help you about that. So I see how desire arises. What's wrong with it? I see a beautiful car, and there it is. What's wrong with it? I see a beautiful tree, a beautiful painting, a beautiful house, a beautiful woman or a beautiful man. What's wrong with it? Then where is wrong? Where then you say, and where does the contradiction begin, the pain begin, where the trouble begins?
No contact.
If you don't get it.
Huh?
If you don't get it, there's pain.
But why do you say if you don't get it?
You said when starts contradiction? You said where's the trouble?
I asked, where is the trouble? When does the trouble begin? I see a beautiful car. All right, it's a beautiful car.
The thinking.
Huh?
The thinking.
No, go, wait. You say things, but then you jump away from it. When you want to possess it.
And you see your own little house.
Yes. So what is taking place? Your little house, the big house, they're wanting the big house, fighting, struggling, earning money or stealing anything to get the big house. What has taken place there?
Conflict. You are not satisfied anymore with your own conflict.
Now, you're not satisfied with your own little room. How does this dissatisfaction arise? When you saw the big house, you got this dissatisfaction arose. When you're living in the little room, you're not satisfied or dissatisfied. You're living there. But when you saw the big house, compared it, and said, by Jove, I must have that. What has taken place there?
You see your
got
own
the
house with
idea.
the eyes of the new, of having seen the new already. So you're seeing two houses at the same time.
Yes, sir. What has taken place there? You have compared, right? What has happened there?
You are involved.
Huh?
You are involved in what you see.
You're involved. Is that it? No. Do please. You see, go slowly. Don't step by step go into it. You will see it's so simple it is.
There's effect and idea.
Yes, that's right. So the fact I live in a small room, and the non-fact, the big house, and I want the big house. And then the trouble begins, right? So desire is all right. I mean, look, looking at a car and saying how beautiful that car is. What's wrong with it? But what begins to bring mischief into it? Huh? You reject what you have. Is that it?
At the same time, I
No,
see.
the housing organization is not perfect.
No, sir. No, sir. No. Look, sir. If you saw that house, your little room, and you saw the big house, and if there was no thought of comparison, you'd live in your little room. No. Don't say those things. We are trying to find out what brings mischief into desire.
You are aware from your little house and room. Before you're not satisfied, you're not dissatisfied. But then you are aware.
You see that big house,
Yes.
and then dissatisfaction begins, right? How does that dissatisfaction begin? Which means what?
Your memory.
All right, go slowly, sir, which means what?
You wanted as part of yourself?
No, you see, you don't...
You were asking, so where the mischief lies.
Yeah.
There's desire, and then you said, where does the mischief come in? Perhaps we've gone away from that question.
No, I have a desire. I look at that car and say, how beautiful car. And why don't I just say, how beautiful, and leave it there? Huh? Then I say, I must have it, right? Fun to get into, drive far, all the rest of it.
Perhaps I can.
You can, then it's no problem. We are trying to understand how desire arises, and how that desire brings about discontent, and what causes that discontent. Those are three things are involved: desire, discontent, and trying to find satisfaction in possessing the car. I'm looking at the whole of it and saying, what is doing all this? What is memory? What does that mean? Why is memory doing that? How can memory do it? No, go here. You said something, so go slowly. No.
We begin by calling the car beautiful, sir.
Yes, which means what? When you looked at the car, sir, and you had no thought at all, but just looked at it, would you have desire? Wait, would you? No.
Wouldn't you see its beauty?
You would see its beauty, you would say nice color, you would say it's nice, but you would leave it, that's finished.
That's no desire.
Huh?
That's no desire.
That's no desire. Wait, so what brings desire on? Thinking, isn't it? No, go slowly, sir. Thinking, which is comparing the little house to the big house, wanting that car, possessing it, enjoy. Thinking is all the time saying, well, I wish I had it, I could go to enjoy myself, and so on. Thought breeds desire, right? And the mischief begins. Discontent. So, you follow? So thought gives a desire which says which finds pleasure in possession. Right? There it is. So I've understood how desire arises, right? How desire begins through thought. I don't condemn desire. So I've found out how thought breeds desire and discontent, right? What do I mean by thought? What do you mean by thought? What does thought mean to you?
When you say that desire is formed by thought, but thought is something so different.
No, it's not very different. What is thought? So wait, sir, before I answer it, what is thought to you? What is thinking? Now, will you, wait, sir, just listen. I ask you a question, what is thinking, right? That's my question, my challenge to you. What is thinking? What takes place now, immediately?
Thinking is our perception.
Huh? Using, no, you go, look, sir, I ask you a question. What is thinking?
Look somewhere here.
Sir, isn't thinking our way of perceiving things, and so the whole problem starts that we can't stay just seeing the things as they are, but immediately we are so conditioned to go on thinking about
That's
it.
right,
So
that's right, sir. No, that's right, sir. But we are going a little further than that. We are asking what is thinking?
You can't give an answer to that. Sorry?
It seems to me that it's perception.
So
Thinking is perception. It's the way we think about it. It's the way we perceive.
No, sir. Look, sir. I ask you.
From the past.
Yeah, I ask you a question. What is thinking?
Sir, to compare memories.
No, sir. Would you listen? First, listen to the question, sir. I'm asking you, what is thinking? Not what you think about, or how does it arise, but what is actually thinking?
The process.
So it's certainly not the right answer, but it's just the brain activity.
Wait, sir, you will find out. Look at it. What is thinking? I ask you a question. Look, I ask you a question where you live. Your answer is very quick, isn't it? Because you're very familiar with it. I ask you a name and you answer it immediately because you have repeated your name 100 times. Now I ask you, what is the distance between here and Rotterdam? And you hesitate a little bit. You're not quite sure. Right? Now what has happened during that hesitation? Looking for the answer, which means what? Memory. Go slowly, you will see it, because unless you see this, it's fun to do this. I ask you, what's the distance from here in Amsterdam, or Moscow, or Paris? And you don't know. So what happens? What happens? What actually is taking place? You are searching, aren't you? Memory is searching. Say, what is or ask somebody who will tell you. So there is an interval between the question and the answer. During that interval, you are searching, asking, looking, which is thinking. Right? Now, if I ask you a question which nobody can answer, you say, I don't know. Right? Huh? So I'm asking you now, what is thinking? Thinking is that interval between the question and the answer, in which my brain is trying to remember and then answer. If it can't remember, if it doesn't know, it says, I don't know. Right? So thinking is the response of memory. That's all. Right? Memory being experience, knowledge, which is the past. Right? Thinking is the response of the past. Like the computer, you inform everything you want that to be informed in the machinery, and it will answer any questions you ask according to that information. So is our brain. Right? So thinking brings discontent. When I see my little room and the big room. Right? So desire, we say, is very painful because I desire that, and I can't have it, or I can have it with all the problems it involves, so I mustn't desire. But if you look at desire, you see that thought brings about this. So, how am I to live in this world? Sorry, to begin with that. How am I to live in this world without contradiction? What? It is related to what we have discussed just now. You will see it. How am I to live in harmoniously? Knowing harmony is impossible as long as there is this discontent brought about by thought.
Stop saying
Huh? No, I can't forget.
Knowing harmony without answering.
We want, sir?
Knowing harmony without answering.
Knowing
harmony without answering.
I don't understand that.
You could say it in Dutch.
I have to exercise my brain. Otherwise, what's the point of having a brain? There must be reasoning very clearly, sanely, healthily, logically. And I know thought breeds discontent and pain, and contradiction. So how am I to live in this world harmoniously so that there is no contradiction? Huh? What's that?
Control your thoughts.
Control your thoughts. Right? And who is the entity that is going to control it? Isn't the entity also thought? Who says, if I could live harmoniously, then it would be a marvelous thing. Therefore, I must control myself. Is that it? And in controlling yourself, there is conflict. Right? And so you are disharmony immediately.
Why don't you stop thinking then?
Why don't you stop thinking? Can you stop thinking? Huh? Yeah. Can you stop thinking? Or, again, mustn't you understand what thinking is? Understand it. See how the origin of thinking begins. So if you understood the whole machinery of thinking, then it itself may come to an end and operate when necessary. I don't know if you understand? I need to think very clearly when I drive a car, when I do something. There must be very clear thinking.
So is understanding also thinking?
Is understanding also thinking? What do you mean by understanding?
Well, when you say, when you understand something.
Now, yes, sir. How does this understanding take place?
With question and memory. When someone is explaining something, for instance, 2 and 2 makes 4, I say, is 2 and 2 4, and then I myself give the answer, and I say, yes, it's true.
Yes, 2 and 2 make 4. But I say something to you that desire, thought breeds desire. Listen, sir, thought breeds desire, discontent, and the trouble begins, right? And you say, yes, I've understood it. Right? Now, what do you mean by understanding there? Do you understand it verbally? When you say I have understood it, you mean you have heard the words?
Yes.
Huh?
Not totally.
Not totally. So, do you understand it intellectually?
So,
Yes. But do you understand it emotionally?
a little bit, yeah.
Yes. So, verbal hearing, intellectually the brain translating it and say, yes, I've understood the words, the meaning, and the feeling that says, yes, by Joe, I think I've understood the whole of it. Which means what? No. We are trying to find out what understanding means.
He says, so understanding means I've done with it.
Understanding means I've done with it. What does that mean again? Done with it. I've understood something, sir. I've understood. I'm not what I have understood, but that feeling of understanding I'm talking. When I see something very clearly, I say, by Joe, I've understood it. It's part, and therefore I act according to that understanding, right? Understanding and action are simultaneous. When I come to a precipice, and I see the danger of it, I act. I run away, leave. So there is seeing, the very seeing is acting, which is understanding. The understanding of the danger, and therefore acting immediately. Without thought, right? Wait, go slowly. I'm repeating what he... Go slowly, sir. He says without thought. But there has been thought. Thousands of years of thought which have said, be careful of that snake, be careful of that precipice. So the tradition which has been established about the snake and the precipice says, be careful. So thought has gone on before. And I am conditioned to that. Now wait a minute. Nationalism, I am conditioned to nationalism. Everybody says it's a marvelous thing. But I don't see the danger of it. The danger being this with my my nationality, with my king, with my government, with my army, with my country, with my follow. And that is a great danger because it separates itself and therefore destruction begins. I don't see that immediately as I see the danger. Right? So which means what? I depend on others to tell me what is dangerous. Others have told me precipice is a danger, be careful. Others have told me nationalism is marvelous. And I accept it. So I realize I am a slave to propaganda. Right? Slave to what other people have told me. Right? So, can I live harmoniously? I can live harmoniously only when I know the danger of everything. Danger, you follow? When I know it, when I understand it, when I realize it, that nationalism is a danger, army is a danger, separate religions are danger, class prejudice is a danger, right? I understand it, therefore act. So, when there is understanding, there is harmony, right? And action. Therefore, action is not separate from understanding. As when I see a precipice, I act. So I can live a life of harmony if I am aware of the dangers which man has accepted as normal. Dangers of ambition, competition, jealousy. So when I understand that, there is no contradiction in me. Therefore, I am living harmoniously. Therefore, my action, being harmonious, is always true. Right? See what a long way we had to come to this. Now, you have heard this verbally. Now, can you do it? Huh? Otherwise, then what's the point of listening to a lot of words? You can look up in a dictionary, you'll find all these words.
Why it is so simple and still so difficult?
Because we don't see it. Because we are not aware of it in ourselves. So you have to be aware of yourself. Now, wait a minute. Aware of yourself, that's what you said begin. You began by saying, I must be aware of myself, because myself, I am the world. Now, I have to be aware. What does that mean, to be aware? Am I aware of you if I am prejudiced against you? Huh? My prejudice projects, and therefore I am not aware of you. Projects itself and prevents me from looking. So to be aware means I must be aware of my prejudices. Of my like and dislike. Aware of my conditioning. That I am a Dutchman, Hindu, a Buddhist, a Muslim, whatever I am. I must be aware of it. And to be aware of it, I mustn't deny it. I can't deny the microphone, it's there. So I mustn't deny what I see in myself. I must look at it. Therefore I must be aware without choice. Saying this, oh, I'll keep this and I won't keep that. So awareness means to be aware without choice, so that I can look. I can look into myself without any choice. I won't say this is good or this is bad, or this is beautiful, I'll keep it, that's ugly, I won't keep. I will look. Right? So I will see, but not judge. Can I see without judging? Can I see violence in me without judging? Which means without the censor, without the entity that judges, that says this is wrong, violence is wrong. Can I look at it? I can only look at it, if there is no opposite. Which means if I don't have the ideal of non-violence, I can look at violence. Right? So can I do that? Which means I have been conditioned to accept the ideals. Right? And I see that prevents me from looking at violence. So can I look at it without any idea? And therefore, if I can look at it without the ideal, I've broken down the conditioning. Therefore, the mind can look freely. So, I've learned something. The mind can be free and not be a slave to environment.
Sir, I understand you can look at that microphone, but how do you look at nationalism?
How do you look at nationalism?
It's not a thing.
Which is subjective thing. How do I look at subjective thing, inward thing? Right? There is a feeling of being a national. How can I look at it? Now wait a minute. Who is the person who is going to look at it? Huh?
I'm not the only one who's going to look at it, because someone told me what's nationalism.
No, madam. We're not telling you what somebody told you. I am nationalistic. I know, we forget how it has arisen. Who planted that poisonous seed in me? I'm nationalistic. I say, now I want to look at it. The feeling of it. No, wait, look. I want to look at it. Now, before I look at it, I must find out who is the entity that's going to look at it, mustn't I? No? Are you getting tired? Is the entity different from nationalism? No. Huh? You follow? This says, I must look at myself. When you say I must look at myself, the I is different from myself, is it? Huh? Well, go slowly. Is nationalism different from the person who is going to look at it? No, then what am I to do? If the observer is the observed, right, then what am I to do? And I know nationalism is a conditioning, right? So one conditioning looking at itself, which is also conditioned, right? So what is one to do?
One must be free of every conditioning.
And I know.
One can look.
No, sir, don't say. Now, put yourself that question. That's here I am. I'm conditioned to be a nationalist, which breeds disharmony. So how am I to be free of that feeling of nationalism? Now, to be free of that nationalism, I must look at it, right? Now, who is it that looks at it? The entity that looks at it is part of the conditioning. So the looker and the looked upon are both conditioned. Then what? Yes, but then what? What have I lied? There's only condition. What am I to do? Live that way? I must find a way out. There must be a way out.
Perhaps it stops from self if you see it that you are the same.
Now, what does that mean? You've said something, so stick to it. Don't let go. Before, watch it, before I said I must get rid of it. It's bad, it's ugly, it brings division amongst people and so on. I must get rid of it.
So how do you see it is bad?
No, he said before that he said all these things.
I have said all these things before.
Previously.
I must get rid of it. There was the observer different from the thing observed. When I say I must get rid of it, there is a division between the entity that says I must get rid of and the thing to be got rid of. Right? Now when I realize both are the same, what takes place? The action previously was to get rid of it. Here, there is no question of getting rid of it. So what has changed? Huh? No, do please see it, look at it, what has taken place. Before I condemned it and pushed it away, here there is no condemnation or acceptance, because I see both are the same.
There's no contradiction, sir.
Huh?
There's no comparison, you don't compare it.
He says there's no contradiction.
So there is no contradiction, which means what? Go slowly, sir. Go. What does that mean?
The action and the control are the same.
Yes, then what happens? He said something just now. He said there is no contradiction, right? Because there is no contradictor.
No possibility of action upon it.
Because there's no possibility of action upon nationalism. So what has taken place? Huh? No, don't guess it. There's harmony, isn't there? Huh? Which means what? No contradiction. No, please don't. No contradiction. Go step by step. You will get it for yourself. This is your bread, not my bread.
Pure nationalism has happened at that moment.
No, not pure nationalism. Good God. There's no such pure poison.
Yes, but it was not dangerous anymore because the idea was not there.
So, no. The idea has been implanted in my brain from childhood as a Hindu or a Dutchman or whatever it is. And I see the danger of it because it separates people, brings war. And I've said before, previously, I'm scared of this division. And I fought against it because it's contradiction. So there was an entity who said, I'm scared of it. But now, seeing all of that, I say the person who says I must get rid of that is that. Right? Before he acted separately. Right? Are you following this? Now, the separative element is gone. So what has happened? No, something extraordinary happens if you do it. Not you will. That is harmony, isn't it? When you are not fighting or accepting, when there is no contradiction, it is there.
Harmony with nationalism.
No. Oh no. You're no longer harmonious with poison. You're free of it.
Why?
I should.
Stalemate.
No, it is not stalemate. It's not stalemate. Look what is. Let me go into. Take it in your teeth and bite it. You will see it. Previously, I've been conditioned to accept nationalism. I hear you say nationalism has brought wars, destruction, it is disharmony, divides people. And I say, by Joe, that's true. I'm scared of nationalism. I fight it. I fight against myself. I say, I'm scared of it. I battle with it and I do all kinds of things. But someone else comes down and says, look what you're doing. The entity that fights nationalism is part of nationalism. Right? He's conditioned. Both are conditioning. Right? And he says, what happens to you then if you realize both are conditioned? You're no longer fighting it. Right? Nor accepting it. If you accept it, you're part of the conditioning. If you don't accept it and if you don't reject it, what has happened? You're free of it, naturally. So you're free of nationalism. Without battle, you follow? Without fighting it. In the same way, if you smoke cigarettes, I don't know, I'm not trying to propagandize anti or for. If you're smoking, and you hear a doctor say, don't, you'll die 10 years short, you'll have lung this and all the rest of it, which is approved, the doctors are saying. And your habit is to smoke, you want it. Conditioned, and the result. And you say, by Jove, I must give it up. And you're fighting habit. Right? Now, who is the person who fights habit? Same as a different kind of habit. So you're fighting one habit against another habit. So there is a battle. But if you understood all habits, how the mind, the brain lives in habits, because it's more pleasant to always do the same thing. To always, to have the same kind of food, same kind of meat, you follow? Get into a habit. So you have to understand the machinery of habit. When you scratch your head or frown or all the rest of it. So you have to look at the machinery of habit, understand it. Then the cigarette falls away without conflict. That means tremendous inward learning. Learning which is discipline. The moment I have to learn something, disciplining comes with it.
This is not another condition.
Huh?
I mean, this is also a condition, but a very good one. It gives you much.
No, sir. No, sir, it's not conditioning. When you are learning about something, the learning itself demands discipline. No. Discipline, as we know, is contradiction, which is imitation, conformity, fear, accepting authority of the ideal or the pattern, therefore the battle. But if I'm learning about something, and to learn about the microphone, I must pay attention to it. And that means discipline, which is to learn. The word discipline means to learn. Disciple. No, the word disciple comes from the word to learn, Greek, which means learn from somebody. Learn, not from some, learn. I am learning about myself. Therefore, there is no teacher or disciple. I am learning. Is it time, sir?
Yes, 25 to 7.
We've talked for an hour and a half. Good Lord, I'm sorry.